Yo, what's up, good peoples, and welcome to another episode of 88 Fantasy Wrestling. I'm your host, Sean P. And we got a special episode man. This week. This is one of the concepts basically of the show. You know, when I came up with the idea of the show, it was basically to talk about like the idea of like booking, fantasy scenarios, right? Hence the title. So this week I wanted to talk about basically the idea of the match. I'm gonna call it the match that never was, right? Y'all see the shirt, right? We talking about Hulk versus Andre, man. So Hulk versus Andre, man, right here in my hometown, man. It was right here down the street of Pontiac, Michigan. 93,000. Everybody know the story, right? The backdrop of it is that it was a certain time where Andre couldn't have took this match. It was at a point in time where he was hurting. You know what I'm saying? He's hurting for certain. He was headed to the downfall of his career. You know what I'm saying? Let's just say that. Like, y'all think about it, his career ended in what he started wrestling in 90. I want to say his last match was at 6, pretty much, right? It was like his last big time match. So that was in 90. And so this was in 87. He didn't wrestle with 3 more years after this, right? So he was already like thinking about not accepting this match. And this ended up being, I mean, really this started everything. If you ask me, man, and young Sean P, I started watching in 88, so I was really after what impact this had. And thinking about it, it's probably one of the reasons why I started watching, because of all the buzz and everything that it created. But this was groundbreaking, man. Like, this was really something different. And just to think that this probably almost didn't happen, listening to the stories to me is really just mind boggling. So, really, just take a trip and really just think about different scenarios about who could have filled them shoes to fill 90,000 people up in the Pontiac Silverdome, man. So that's something right there just to even think about, because no other that started think about this. That started the trend of big time names, like two big time names is the movable force and the moving, irresistible moving, it started that, man. That was it. That's what the phrase came from, man. From Gorilla, right here. It was the irresistible against the move. Like, that started it. Before that, you had the Bundy and you had the tag team match that headlined at Mania. This was the first big time headlining match, and it started something that's going on 40 years later. Crazy. But really, like I say, let's just really dig in, man. I got a couple facts about it, a couple things that we can do, and then really, I want to start with the number one, because the number one replacement. Every time I bring it up, to my cohorts around the industry and things, and also everybody, comment as we going along. Y'all got names as well, but the number one name is Flair. I feel like everybody always wondering, like, why Flair, why Vince didn't pull that move to try to get Flair over there to fill that place up, and then just always had that in his pocket, because that was the time when they was just the flaming hottest. You know, the thing about it is, and it's so crazy because of course Flair was a NWA champ at the time. I don't know what kind of bank Vince would have had to break to get him over there and out of that situation. But I mean, it ended up happening 4 years later. But another story. But again, Flair was actually NWA champion at the time, and fun fact about that is that he actually lost the title later on that year here at the Joe Louis Arena to Ron Garvin. So just think about that, man. The biggest match that we talking about ever in 87, March of 87, Hawk and Andre at Pontiac, Michigan, right? The only suitable replacement to me at the time was Nature Boy. And he ended up losing the title right here in the hometown at Detroit Joe Louis. Ain't that something? But like I say, so he was pretty busy at the time, Another option I heard this going around a little bit was taking Macho. you know, and I feel like, you know, doing that, of course, that would have took away from the classic that we had with him and Steamboat, of course, but it was it wasn't that time, you know. It just wasn't that time, you know. At that point, he ended up going on to, you know, do what he did in at 4, you know, at WrestleMania 4. You know, for everybody that don't know the lingo, when I say 4 6, that's WrestleMania is, you know, it's this big time. But he ended up doing this thing at 4, right? And so I feel like he wasn't ready at the time, you know, and then doing that would been like, just, you don't want to go premature like that, you know. So I don't really consider Savage being an option at the time, you know. You had Jake, you know, everybody know the story about Jake when he got cracked with the guitar around that time. If you don't know, Jake was really coming up at the time, and he was like almost getting babyface type reactions, even though he was still like crossing that heel side, but he was getting to them on the likes of like Hogan type, and they was about to start a feud, him and Hogan, but they weren't ready for that type of thing going on where they was gonna have a heel getting face reactions back in '87, a la like Stone Cold in '97. They weren't ready for Jake doing that. So Vince just scrapped the whole thing, and I mean, worse for wear, Jake ended up getting hurt by the guitar shot by Honky, and you know, it was just Hulk homeboy too. I don't know, it sounded like a setup, if you ask me. But that ended up happening, you know, and basically that's how that turned out, you know. So I don't think Jake, you know, was a suitable option at the time, you know. Uh Monsters was the thing, you know. So you didn't want to run the Bundy back. You had just did Bundy. You didn't want to run him back. Paul. I thought Paul was a good choice, but of course he wasn't a monster. Paul Orndorff, Mr. Wonderful. You know, they was just coming off a man stupid fire type of ordeal going on then. It was the steel cage match from Saturday Night Main Event that happened like right before this match happened, man, and it was a blow off, but it was, man, you talking about some good times, man. If y'all ever want to go back and watch that right there. If you want to lead up to this, you know, like lead up to, go back and watch the Hogan Andre match. You know, after we get done with all this, go back and watch that, because that was like I say, that started everything for me. And if you ain't seen it, man, just like enjoy it, right? But other than that, go watch the Hogan Orndorff match as well, man, because that was good money as well. And that really like started the whole thing. And it was a blow off feud, but I feel like Paul was hot. It was a good suitable heel at the time. Again, I don't know if it could have filled up 90,000. That's probably a stretch, you know. I feel like what it did, I know they filled what, 80, 75. Somebody can correct me if y'all want to comment. But over at the Sky Dome in Toronto, right? I remember that. But like I say, it didn't a repeat. What I'm trying to say is it's really hard to do 90,000 without having your mans in there. Andre had to be the choice because it was larger than life. Comic book dudes coming right at you, you know? And that's what that's what the people was liking. You know, that's what they wanted. It was like no other name. You know, like we gonna go through a couple, but no other name could have been Andre the Giant, man. It was the reason he was him, and he was the eighth wonder. Even though going in and probably looking at it now, if you would have booked it now, you would know it would have probably just been just a stepping stone to elevate, you know, the Cody of that time film, you know. So it was just a stepping stone, but it was a big stepping stone, man, and it was just at the right time, the right moment, and it killed the game, you know. So it killed the game. It did. It killed it. We talk about it to this day. I love watching this. It's probably my favorite Mania. If it ain't in your top 5 Manias, man, it gotta be WrestleMania 3 is top 5 for sure. Just the ambiance. You can throw that on like a movie on 8 o'clock Sunday with the fam, you know, and just let it go. You know, so it's something to see, man, and it ain't too many people that could have been in that spot. So We can go through a couple more if you want. Like I say, the Warrior wasn't there. You know, Dusty. Y'all can see Dusty in that spot? No. You know, Piper? Nah. You know, like who you gonna get? You couldn't get nobody, you know? So that was a tough one, man. And like I say, it's something just to know that it was just the right. It's like it was something to like to be. You feel me? It was like it was just something that was meant to be. When things come together like that, nothing can stop it, and that's what makes pro wrestling really what makes life beautiful. The fact that you got things that just come together is so perfect like that, you know, and that's why I love, you know, talking about it and being able to witness it, because when it come together like that, it's so beautiful. You feel me? And it come out like I say, the memory is right here. You feel me? We get to draw it out and see perfect things just come to life. You know, things that you never thought you'd see. So again, it was just like I say, a beautiful match, man. It changed the game up. You know, everybody came up, and then this another thing. Thinking about this, man. Think about this, y'all. That right there, it started so much because that feud lasted over 2 years. Oh, what they went for the rest of '87, right? They didn't even touch each other until I don't even think they got together until the Survivor Series later on that year, right? And then after that, they end up going all the way into main event. I remember main event '88. That was another spectacle in itself, you know. And it was all like I say, these is all landmark times. Every time they fought, it was like everybody stopped what they did, and you was like, "I'm gonna check this out." You know, at the young Shy P, I'm 4 or 5 years old, and I'm mesmerized. This is the first thing I've never seen, and it blew me away, of course. And I had to be there every time they fought, all the way going into, like I say, later on that year. I believe is when it stopped in '88. So they went a good year and a half, 2 years solid with this feud, man. And this saved Hogan. It made Hogan a made man. This is why he the man because of that. So remember, if y'all remember, everybody that tuned into the Wiz episode, we was talking about the people that Hogan made. This dude, Andre made him really, because he was until the end he was that, you know, okay, but when you did that, you beat the giant, you slayed the giant. All right, you got to be that guy. You got to be that guy. That remind me of when Cena beat Triple H at 21. Right? No, 20 at 22. I'm sorry. When he beat him at 22 and they went crazy. Because it was like, yeah, he was doing all that. Remember 21, that's when he beat JB. He's like, yeah, okay. But then they was like, oh, okay, you just be here. Oh, okay, you got to be that guy there. You got to be that guy there, you know? So it's just it's one of the made man moments right there. You got to see that. If you're a real wrestling aficionado, you got to see the made man moments, because that would make like basically it honors the tradition. You know what I'm saying? You always see that. I always like to see like the title changes, how they happen. You know what I'm saying? Like carry on tradition and make sure it's right. That's what it is. You know, you don't never want to mess that up. So and that's what did it. You know, for me. And like I say, this going in, it was something different. It changed the game up, and I don't even know if you could have had any other two people playing their roles even more better. I'll say 3-2 with Vince in there, because you got to throw the mastermind in there. You know, you only good as your top, so you got to throw him in there too. But the whole thing, man. If anything, if I gotta say so, I want y'all to really just go back, watch this for me. We gonna start with. Y'all want to go back, because I know they got all this on Netflix. I'm giving y'all plugs right now, but they got the go back. I say start at the main event I was talking about, right, with Orndorff. You will watch that, because that's fine. Go on, if y'all can find it, you might go on YouTube, but go on to the moment where Andre got with Heenan and they came out on the Superstar show, and when he actually flipped, man, that right there is so crazy, man. That's just so cinema. Like, I wish I could have been there at that time, and I really like the reason why I really like I get like that because I wish I was at Mania that year. You know, like granted, I was only 3-4 years old, but man, you could have took me to Mania, man. I'll take me to Mania, man. Like for real. And that's what we gonna go back. You know, we going back and when we owe that. So every time they come in, they're close by, is on. And I wish the Silverdome was even back. Probably we got an Amazon here now, you know, but it's all good. You know, they still taking care of business. TCBN, you know. But you know, it is what it is. But yeah, it was just a good time, man. It was a funky good time, and you know, like I said, it laid the foundation for it. So I like I said, we love talking about things like that, different scenarios. But I would say end all be all, wasn't nobody replacing them guys, y'all. You know, it wasn't no replacing them, man. It was just something that just had to happen. It laid the groundwork, you know, and now that you see all those other matches that you seen going in, you know, it was just something else, you know. So go back, check that out, you know, check out the Mania match, of course, you know, like I say, check out that. And then man, just keep going, man. Like I say, you got the contract signing at the Royal Rumble for the next main event match. You know, watch the main event match, not the Saturday night main event, it's main event. You know, watch that one with Hogan. Man, cold, man. I'm trying to tell you, man. Indianapolis, Indiana, 88, man. Glitz and Glamour, all the big names, Mean Gene. Watch it, trust me. And you just get a much more appreciation of what you seeing, man, and why when we say that them dudes was just doing their thing to another degree, it's just flawless, man. So I salute you. I salute everybody, man. Thank y'all again for watching. Of course, you know, we gonna keep it going. I got so many episodes, y'all. So like I say, just get ready, buckle up. I appreciate y'all every time y'all watch us, man. You know, just keep subscribing. Like I say, you subscribe, tell that person to subscribe, and then they gonna tell that person. And then, like I say, we all gonna come together and make this happen, okay? So I appreciate y'all one more time. That's what we gonna do, all right? And again, see me next episode. We gonna do one more. We gonna be I'll probably do another best era episode. I know we got a couple live events coming up. So if we don't do that, then you know that's what it's gonna be. But you know, again, I appreciate y'all one more time. We gonna say, hey, ain't nobody replacing them cats. All right, so we just gonna leave it at that. Hogan, Andre, fantasy ain't no fantasy, man. Them guys is 101s. They did it. 93,000. Detroit, Pontiac, Silverdome. 88 Fantasy Wrestling, man. We're going to leave it at that. I will see you guys in a minute. This is Sean P. 88. I'm out. Peace.